We are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not.
You know what their defense is? 2 dog sleds.
We need Greenland for national security.
Greenland. Greenland.
Greenland.
Greenland. Greenland.
Greenland.
Layers of ice suddenly become the center of the world's attention. Why is America so intensely going after Greenland? The real reason behind it is far more important than minerals, oil, or even American security. So important that it could change the entire global order. Greenland, near the North Pole, is the largest island in the world, and 80% of it is covered with a thick sheet of ice. In terms of area, it is larger than Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Indonesia, but the habitable land is so limited that only about 57,000 people live in all of Greenland, mostly along the coastal strip where the ice is relatively less. Talking about temperature, 30 C is normal here, and in the northern parts even 50 C is routine. Summers here come only for as long as winters come in the Middle East, barely stretching to 10 C, that too under bright daylight. The Greenland where blood-freezing cold exists, how did that pile of ice become the center of a Cold War between the world's superpowers? American President Donald Trump has even said that the United States must get Greenland at any cost, even if it requires military action. Not just once, Trump has repeatedly expressed his desire to acquire Greenland, and this insistence has worried geopolitical experts. Greenland is geographically part of the North American continent, but politically it is an autonomous region under the control of the Kingdom of Denmark. Donald Trump wants it to become part of the United States of America, but let me tell you, Trump is not the first person to express such a desire. America has always considered Greenland an essential part of its national security. Until 1867, Alaska was part of Russia, and then the United States bought it for about 2 cents per acre. From the beginning, America wanted dominance in the Arctic region. At that time, there was also an attempt to purchase Greenland and Iceland, but the American Congress dismissed the plan. Later in 1910, U.S. President William Howard Taft tried to acquire Greenland but failed again. The real turning point came during World War II when Germany occupied Denmark. At that moment, the United States took Greenland's security into its own hands to prevent Nazi forces from establishing bases there. After the war, in 1946, American President Harry Truman offered Denmark $100 million in gold in exchange for Greenland. Denmark refused to sell the land but allowed America to build military bases there. So one thing is clear, Trump's approach may be controversial, but he is not the first U.S. president to attempt to obtain Greenland. There seem to be several reasons behind Trump's firm tone. One is national security. Greenland's location in the Arctic places it almost centrally between Russia and America. From a military perspective, whoever holds Greenland automatically gains stronger control over the Arctic region. But American forces are already present there. At Patuxent Space Base, formerly Thule Air Base, around 10,000 American soldiers are stationed. So what exactly is the concern? The concern is that although Greenland is under Denmark's control, many of its residents have long wanted independence. Denmark itself is not a particularly powerful kingdom and provides nearly half of Greenland's budget and financial support. Yet Greenland has no army of its own. Trump fears that if Greenland becomes independent, it might demand the removal of American bases or increase the cost significantly. That is why America wants complete control. Another point is that Greenland has no independent military. Danish defense forces are responsible for protection, which Trump believes are relatively weak. He even sarcastically remarked about how they would protect Greenland. Looking at history, many around the world questioned America's intentions. The United States invaded Iraq under the pretext of weapons of mass destruction, but none were found. In 1964, America attacked Vietnam, claiming Vietnamese ships attacked the Usmatics in the Gulf of Tonkin. Later investigations revealed the incident was misrepresented. In 2011, the U.S. targeted Libya, claiming Colonel Gaddafi was committing atrocities, while many experts argued the real concern was Libya's attempt to introduce a gold-backed currency. Given this history, some believe that Greenland is also about resources rather than just security. Greenland is among the few places in the world with massive reserves of rare earth elements, minerals essential for future technology. The average ice layer in Greenland is about 2 kilometers deep, and since this ice is millions of years old, unexplored resources likely lie beneath it. According to geological surveys, Greenland has the 8th largest reserves of rare earth elements, including neodymium for electric vehicles and wind turbine magnets, gallium for AI chips and radar systems, uranium for nuclear energy, silicon for semiconductors and solar panels. These elements are crucial for future technologies. Currently, around 90% of the global supply is controlled by China, which has recently imposed export limits to pressure Western countries. In the future, the most powerful nation may be the one that controls these minerals. This is another reason why Trump wants Greenland to break China's monopoly. Surveys also estimate that northeast Greenland alone may hold around 31 billion barrels of oil. The total reserves across Greenland could be far greater. Another major reason is the security of internet cables. Much of the world's communication runs through undersea cables connecting America and Europe. Greenland's location is vital for protecting these routes. There are concerns that in the event of war, Russia could disrupt these cables. Greenland is also home to advanced early warning radar systems capable of detecting intercontinental ballistic missiles launched from Russia shortly after launch. Any missile aimed at the U.S. mainland would likely pass over Greenland, but perhaps the most important reason that few openly discuss is the new trade route emerging due to melting Arctic ice. For centuries, ships traveling between Europe and Asia had to go around Africa or South America. Later, the Suez and Panama Canals shortened journeys significantly. However, the Arctic Ocean was always blocked by ice. Now, because of global warming, that ancient ice is melting, opening a new sea route known as the Northwest Passage. For example, a ship traveling from China to London could save nearly 9,000 kilometers compared to the Suez route, saving millions in fuel and cutting 10-15 days of travel time. This means the issue is not just Greenland, it is about controlling this new maritime highway. Russia already has the largest Arctic coastline and wants to tax its northern sea route. China is developing a polar Silk Road. America fears losing control over global trade dominance. Greenland sits at the entrance of this emerging route. If America gains control, it could effectively act as a toll gate for global trade. Estimates suggest that within the next 10 to 20 years, Arctic ice may melt further, making the route more commercially viable. However, if America acquires Greenland by force, it could trigger a serious crisis. Denmark is a NATO member. If the U.S. acts aggressively, it could destabilize NATO itself, whose principle is that an attack on one member is an attack on all. If Trump succeeds and Greenland comes under U.S. control, the consequences could be significant. America would become the dominant Arctic power. Trust between Europe and America could collapse. China's mineral monopoly could weaken. Greenland's ecosystem could face severe disruption. Local communities could lose their cultural autonomy. The melting Arctic ice is opening new opportunities, but also new dangers. The decision about Greenland could shape the next 100 years of global politics. Whether it leads to peace or to a new global conflict, only time will tell.